like, what do you think you would bring to the presidency of Ireland? Well, I think, I would unite all the people of Ireland,
Look at him. Oh, God.
north and south, and I would campaign
Pearl
for world
clutcher.
He doesn't know where to be
peace.
looking. Look, I'm not looking.
And
Murder. Do you remember the kind of national panic about good men and how we all had to be good men? And one of the ways we'd be good men would be that, like, a good man would call out bad behavior in other men.
Oh, for
your friend.
fuck's sake. It's woke right. That's all it is.
My co-host will say, John, maybe we shouldn't publish that, won't you?
Of course I would. At the end of the podcast, I'd say, well, I don't know, maybe you should see a doctor because you seem to be having some kind of a turn. But also, we're editing that out.
Yeah, you need to see a doctor for
Oh,
God forbid you mention.
Fuck these people, man. This fucking hug box of the right.
Poor Joe Brolly, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Blow Jolly, as people are calling him now.
Crispy Rothschild in the chat says, blowjob, Brolly. I like the 3 part of it.
Yeah.
BBB. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the world coming to, huh?
I heard that was from 2.5 years ago. Is that true?
I've no idea. I thought it was just a recent podcast or something, was it? I don't know. It seemed to come out of nowhere, so to speak. But yeah, there's nothing like a bit of sexual scandal to get people's heckles up in Ireland. That's the last straw. A simulated blowjob. That'll do it. That'll end a career for you. But yeah, I just caught what you were saying. Like, he is a disgusting piece of shit. And there's definitely an element of shouting for that. And he would, if it was someone else, he'd be the first guy to jump all over it and demand that the person be banished from existence itself. Well, he's at least apologised for it. He did post a link on X to say that the footage is up if people want to view it. It's on multiple platforms, but I think originally it was deleted and then he put it back up. But then he was saying he was trying to reframe it, ignoring the simulated blowjob altogether, and then saying that he wasn't talking about Heather Humphreys, that in fact he was talking about, I don't know, something, the Rose of Tralee, or I don't fucking know. I've never listened to the man's.
You know what? I mean, yeah. Maybe we need to do some fucking homework because it could be actually just, political assassination here. We don't have the full context, but let's stop talking about it and let's watch.
A shot of yourself, doing the reverse cowgirl in public upstairs in a public bar in Dublin. You see, and then showing it to her. See, and that's very because you got this what do you think you would bring to the presidency of Ireland? Well, I think I would unite all the people of Ireland, north and south, and I would campaign for world peace. If I became the president,
you know what? I'm sorry. I love this. This is fucking brilliant.
It is. This is what guys do when they think nobody's fucking watching. Who hasn't simulated a blowjob?
I mean, not for this long.
No, this is almost a full blowjob. Like, only short of taking it out of his mouth and fucking ejaculating on his face.
He has some experience taking or giving. I don't know, but that would be over very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting right fucking in there, and most people, like an amateur, would put the tongue, to the side of their mouth, but he's getting it right down there, down to the lower jawline, so that's obviously his preference one way or the other, like either giving or taking, but his poor colleague is, seems to be a little bit mortified.
Yeah, well, because he's a dry cunt, let's be fair.
Yeah, and again, this is the same guy who's, been hammering people who have issues with trans or, dare to make a contrary point to what he stands for politically, and would, without a shadow of a doubt, be all over anybody else who behaved in this particular fashion. And I think on that basis alone, it's fair enough. Okay, well, if it's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. And if it was somebody on the right in Ireland, every news outlet in the country would be demanding, penance and for the person to be banished for years.
They'd be thrown out of the country already,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this guy, it's just it's silent, you know.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, you know, what do you want us to do? He was doing it in a private capacity. It like that. His podcast isn't sponsored by the Irish Independent or whoever he writes for, so it's perfectly fine. To my mind, it's perfectly fine. Like it's just
Yeah.
a fucking dude. And then there's people getting ridiculous. Oh, he's a 50-year-old man. He needs to grow up and to behave himself. How dare he behave in this particular manner? But it just shows us, you know, it's anyone who stands on this high moral ground. It's only a matter of time. Nobody can stand on the high moral ground in anywhere, especially not fucking Ireland. And if you're a public figure and you have a podcast, you know, at some stage you're going to forget where you are, and especially if you have any sort of reputation. And this is the guy who, you know, was calling that guy who killed those children in Dublin, like referring to him as gentlemen and all this kind of fucking nonsense.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You look, the man is full of really fucking awful takes. Shall we watch again?
Oh, sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah. And also, someone said that the volume was way down. Can't handle that, but you know, I bumped it a little bit. So
Oh, someone wants the full effect, is it like that? More interesting than
Doubly
you're saying.
surround sound.
Yeah, you want to hear the sloppy gobbling sounds.
To have shot of yourself, you know, doing the reverse cowgirl in public upstairs in a public bar in Dublin. You see, and then showing it to her. See, and that's very because I mean, you got this, like, you know, what do you think you would bring to the presidency of Ireland? Well, I think you know, I would unite all the people of Ireland,
Look at him! Oh God!
north and south, and I would campaign
Pearl
for world
clutcher.
Doesn't know where to look.
peace.
Look, I'm not looking.
And if I became the president, I just think that I would be a unifying force.
This podcast is not live.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's recorded and then put up, and
Right.
it's mainly on I forget the name of it. It's shite though. But it's mainly audio. Like, so come on, you know, if the guy was really that uncomfortable, yeah, he could have. Oh my God, look at those fucking daggers coming out of those eyes, man.
Yeah. So, what's this podcast called? Freestyle Ireland or something like that, isn't it, or something like that?
Fuck.
So
Something
obviously
like that.
the decision was made to release it because, like you said, it's pre-recorded. So I'm sure this guy at some stage would have said to him, "Hey, listen, we can't put that out." But Joe strikes me as the type of man who would overrule him and go, "No, this is fucking hilarious. Like, let's send it out there." And again, you know, he's essentially been given free reign to say whatever the fuck he wants about whoever he wants with impunity. So, you know, what difference does this make? But Middle Ireland is woefully offended. So I have a clip here from Gript of all people. So I'm using them as my Middle Ireland moral barometer.
Gript and fucking Patter Tobin is the only Middle Ireland that exists, you know. The ones that think they're Middle Ireland, that's the only Middle Ireland that exists.
Yeah, it's the only kind of barometer we have. So it's I don't know what her name is. Oh, Sarah is down the bottom. That's nice.
Oh.
So Sarah Ryan and what's his name again?
McGurk.
Yeah, John McGurk. So they're discussing
Okay.
Brolly, and it's, you know, is it this kind of behavior? Is it behavior befitting of a barrister? Like almost just below an angel in Ireland is a barrister. You know, that's the hierarchy.
This is just fucking laundering the fucking comments that they saw on X. You know, like they're not saying anything new.
No,
nobody says anything new. You only hear new things on the anti-broadcast.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's like this is the first time anybody in Ireland has even, you know, heard of a blowjob or reverse cowgirl. So I don't know.
would really like the fucking full context of the reverse cowgirl thing.
Yeah, and you know, we'd almost need, you know, cameras in everybody's bedroom here to see who really can stand on the moral high ground here because this is the first known occurrence of a blowjob, not an actual blowjob in Ireland, but a simulated blowjob. People didn't even know what it was until this morning. Like, for any woman to be besmirched and to engage in such an horrific act, it should almost be classified as some sort of sexual abuse, a blowjob. But I can imagine both of these have engaged in a bit of blowjobbery at some stage or other.
Oh, please. I didn't need that image.
Yeah, I think McGurk actually, engages in sex with his socks on, if not his long johns, and has to close his eyes and apologize.
No. It's the sheet with the hole in it.
All right, the Jewish thing, the Orthodox.
3,000 of you who joined us on YouTube for our most recent emergency episode following the departure of Jim Gavin from the race, and the 10 or 15,000 of you who joined on other platforms. That listenership is enormous. We are hugely proud of it, and we are glad that you join us every week. And if, by the way, you are somebody out there who wants to reach all those listeners, drop us a line and consider sponsoring the podcast.
Fucking potatoes, man.
About that. But before we move on, I am obliged to ask Sarah how she is.
Slightly poorer than I was last week, John. Isn't everyone?
Oh, it's because of the budget. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Slightly less rich. Well, we'll come to that. But I want to start with more topical matters because
come on, man. Really? You're really fucking making connections with people there less rich.
Yeah, I'm feeling slightly less rich as well. That Bentley's out the window now.
Have you seen this video of Joe Brolly, my old mate, on his podcast, which is called
I have, because I tweeted it, John. I have.
Yeah, I tweeted it as well. And I'm just thinking here, if I ever on this podcast, if I ever start simulating blowjobs when talking about women, you as my co-host.
Yeah, did you see her face there? Like, as if she's never given a blowjob. Like, come on. Watch her face there when he mentions it. And just prior to her mentioning it, she's licking her lips. She's opening her mouth. She's flicking her tongue inside her mouth.
Podcast, which is called
I have, because I tweeted it, John. I have.
Yeah, I tweeted it as well. And I'm just thinking here, if I ever on this.
No fucking way, dude. That is just wild, man.
If Joe gets his hands on this, like, dear God.
Podcast. If I ever start simulating blowjob.
Tongue behind the teeth, like she's going through it in her mind now.
Yeah, look, we all, have this dimension to our nature, man.
Yeah, and look at McGurk's face.
He looks like he took a load on the face.
Yeah, like that's a cum face I've ever saw, and it's just.
I'm talking about women. You as
look, come on, Mrs.
Yeah, that's performative.
Yeah, and that
she caught herself like, oh, this is cute. I should be disgusted.
Yeah, ew, a blowjob. Who does that? Like, that's disgusting.
My co-host will say, John, maybe we shouldn't publish that, won't you?
Of course I would. At the end of the podcast, I'd say, well, I don't know, maybe you should see a doctor because you seem to be having some kind of a turn, but also we're editing that out.
Yeah, you need to see a doctor for God forbid you mention.
Fuck these people, man. This fucking hug box of the right. I'm sorry if you listen to this. I don't mean to insult your intelligence because, I watch a lot of fucking slop. Watching this Canadian series from 2012 called Saving Hope, and it's a drama in a hospital and the dude sees ghosts. And I love it and I hate it, right? But I know that it's slop, right? But I'm not looking to that TV show to inform me about the world, all right? This is shit, man. If you listen to it long enough, you will become as dull as these two.
Yeah, I don't know who listens to it. Like, I can understand people, catching up with the kind of 5-minute interviews on X that Ben Scanlon does and stuff like that. They do tend to do good work there. But this kind of nonsense is it's on a par with the Late Late Show. It's really dry, dull fucking stuff. Like,
yeah.
So for people who don't know, there's a video of him. He's doing some kind of weird mock description of the rows of the candidates for the presidential election as rows of Tralee candidates.
Yeah.
And
He's comparing the presidential elections to those of Chile or something.
and he simulates a blowjob very graphically, and not for like
Very graphically. How can you do it other than graphically?
Yeah, I mean that is the meaning of the word graphically.
Yeah, just to do it behind a sheet of paper, like, or something, or like an animation.
like, as I said to you on the phone earlier on, like not for a second, but for a long time with multiple sort of stops
Gagging
for
noises.
30
words,
seconds.
like whatever. And it's really weird and creepy and grim and gross. And you know me, John, I'm not a prude, but there has to be
Yeah,
some
you are, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're a fucking prude.
Yeah, you know me, John. Like, come the Christmas party, like just banging out blowjobs like they're Christmas crackers, like just sucking the dick off everyone in Gripped. That's how it got his name, actually. Like, that's how Gripped got his name
Ooh.
originally. Like,
Oh,
that's what you have to do if you want to get in there. Like, take a grip of it and snarf down on McGurk's
McGurk.
dirty little fucking twiglet of a penis. I can imagine the state of this guy's dick. Like,
McGurk skirkin.
yeah, there you go.
This is the problem with these kinds of people, right? Is that they're all fucking piety, going to fucking mass and going on podcasts, being fucking boring and uninspired. And then, yeah, when the Christmas party comes along, yeah, all hell breaks loose. You know, the tequila bottle gets polished off in an hour.
Mhm.
And yeah, just, you know, it's Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
And then they go back to fucking mass on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, ladies. Like, if you've any women in the chat room there, like, put your hand up if you haven't given some dude a blowjob. You know, it's almost like the women in Ireland don't have sex at all and don't engage in any sort of sexual behaviour beyond the missionary position. It's like people are still shocked at a blowjob, you know? Or is it supposed to stop after a certain age or something? You get to 36 or something, is it? And then the blowjobs stop, or you know, I don't get it. And again, this collagen injection in the lip, like, what's that about? Other than to say to men, hey,
Oh,
look at my.
that is what that is. You know, it did. Yeah, those lips did stick out to me.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's the point of them, to stick out to you, to
yeah,
be
they're not called
inviting.
blowjobs lips for no reason, you know. Like,
kind of level that we're going to all try to keep to. And more importantly than all of that, it's just, we've had conversations on this podcast before about how George Hook was cancelled and why, and people like Kevin Myers, and for saying the slightest thing. And it just goes to show that Joe Brolly has his big, bright, shiny privilege badge, because there's absolutely no way that another man who didn't have the protection of his superior moral class around him, there's no way that another man who didn't have that, like yourself, would ever get away with that. He would have been
Oh, I'd be done
cancelled
for.
within an hour, and rightly so. He's disgusting.
No risk of that, man.
oh, come
No
on,
risk
John,
of that.
do it for us, John. Come on, just to see what happens, like a side by side comparison. Who's got the better blowjob?
Maybe we should
It's
AI him into it, you know. Maybe.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
That would be class.
disgusting, revolting. But it's just, you can say whatever you like if you're the right kind of person.
I was watching it actually, and I was more interested in watching Dion Fanning, his co-host.
Mm.
I don't know almost anything about Dion Fanning. Very little. But I do remember, I don't know if you remember, during the panic about you know, after the horrible Aisling Murphy murder. Do you remember the kind of national panic about good men and how we all had to be good men? And one of the ways we'd be good men would be that, like, a good man would call out bad behavior in other men.
Oh, for
in your friend.
fuck's sake. It's woke right. That's all it is. Oh, jeez. I get holding other people to their fucking standards.
Yeah.
But, like, really, that's your fucking big hot take, is it, John?
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna if he's gonna make the comparison by saying like that Joe was the type of fella who should be doing that, or I don't know if John. But John is going to hold him to the standard, isn't he? Like that he would find it, you know, morally reprehensible that a man would talk about a woman in such terms, or even
Mhm.
mention anything sexual about women. God forbid,
Yeah.
like it's not very holy or Catholic at all, you know.
You know, if you saw somebody like kind of like chatting up a girl who clearly wasn't interested and she's a bit uncomfortable, you go over and put your arm around him and go, mate, you know, back away, be a good man. And Dion Fanning is there, and you can see, in fairness to him, if you watch the clip,
Yeah, you can.
Oh no, yeah. So Dion should have took him aside and told him, hey, bro, you can't disparage women like that. Like nobody fucking who acts like that. This was the whole thing, wasn't it, about locker room chat and stuff like that. That had to be done away with, and that if you ever found yourself in a locker room and some guy was talking about women in a sexually provocative manner, that as a good man, as John points to himself when he says good man, you're supposed to approach the offending person and tell them, hey bro, you know, let's not talk about this. We need to check ourselves. We can't talk about women in those terms. Because that it never pops into a man's mind, you know, anything sexual to do with a woman, or a woman's mind for that matter, about men. And they don't have sexual thoughts about men either.
No,
It's just,
not at
I don't
all.
know, it's something to do with the movement of the stars and the planets and the moon, and then something strange happens and we're just overtaken by the spirit of the great blowjob in the sky. Like,
well, I think if you're listening to this podcast, like, it's not that hard. Just go and search Joe Brolly's name on X or whatever. You'll see the clip. It's there. And if you watch Dion Fanning's face in it, he is so obviously deeply uncomfortable and mortified. But he doesn't say, Joe, cop on. And he clearly, you know, I don't know what he said. Maybe he was overruled, but the piece of video went to air anyway. So I just
It
think
was
that all
used
these
as
people
a
on the
clip.
left,
It was used
yeah, it was
as
a
a clip.
promo clip.
Was it?
And also,
Oh my god! Sorry, that's legendary. Look, we have a few women in the chat who find this disgusting. Crass is a word that I saw in there. Okay, granted, that's cool. Just, you know, let people have their laugh, I guess, is my take on this, right?
but why like, maybe they can explain why is it crass? Like, I've heard women talk in private.
But you know what? It could also be just be the source, the man who did it. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you
can
know,
understand that, like, you know, but like, what is it? Are we not supposed to talk about blowjobs? I don't understand that. Are people still that prudish that it's you know, sex is off the table? We're only supposed to talk about it in private. It's not to be broadcast, or what is it? The fact that men are talking about women and that they're being sexually objectified, or, you know, come on, like, for fuck's sake, you know, I don't know.
you
I
know what?
don't get it.
We would joke about, like, and look, it's rare that we would joke about anyone getting penetrated, because you know what? It's like, yeah, it is pretty crass. You know, it's just, you know, with the rare moments that you do use it, you know, it can be funny, and it was funny when he did it. Um, but if we do talk about people being penetrated, which, you know, is to make to signal that they are being, you know, subservient, groveling, you know, that kind of thing, we would actually joke about men in that situation. Only, you know, it's in a different hole. You know, like, so what's the big deal? You know, like, I thought we were equals here. You know.
It's again, it's a fucking nonsense. It's this. I think it's this woman thing, this female privilege, and this prissiness, and this pearl clutching. Like, you know, how dare men say anything ever about a lady? It's like, fuck off. As if you don't engage in it yourselves. Like, you know, like, men are in some ways stupid, but we're not unintelligent. And we do know, like, that women engage in the same fucking types of behavior, and worse. So,
Yeah.
you know, get the fuck out of town with that horseshit.
Yeah.
Like, we can understand with Joe Brolly, fair enough. Nobody fucking really likes him that much. He's a dickhead. But it is funny, and, you know, you get any group of guys in a room anywhere, bar morally superior men like John, who would never, you know, dare simulate a blowjob. I don't know how many times I've seen people do that blowjob action, men and women. It's a well-known
Yeah.
symbol
Signal.
for a
Yeah.
blowjob. I don't know what the actual sign language for a blowjob is. Maybe we can look that up. But if anybody, if I'm walking down the street and if it's a man or woman and they're across the side of the road and they start doing that to me, I instantly know what they're talking about or what they're signaling towards me. Now, it hasn't happened. Granted, nobody's ever done that to me on the street. But yeah, crass. Okay, right. I suppose we're still kind of, sexually repressed. I guess maybe it's a very right-wing thing as well, because we've gone to the other swing of the pendulum with sex, where we're expected to be almost fucking publicly in the streets. So the natural reaction to that is, we need to go back to a time where we never mentioned sex at all. It didn't exist, but there was all sorts of perversion going on behind doors. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that it's public, where people don't want to admit publicly, yes, that I too have had a dick in my mouth at some stage. Shock, horror. Didn't want anybody to know about it.